Today we're going to check out the new Vaportrail Gen 7X Aero Rest. So stay tuned. So I've been running a full capture, essential whisker biscuit rest for probably 15 years. I've tried a few other drop ways, kind of gotten away from them, just kept going back to a full capture rest. When I was at ATA though this year, I was talking to the Vaportrail guys, and it's also some friends of mine that run the older Gen 7 rest by them. And I was really impressed with what I saw, especially when I saw that they can now have a bottom activated cord. Again, I've never run these, so for me, I always envisioned the top cord as getting in the way with maybe my quiver, with a slider, a sight, or whatever. And those concerns, I'm sure, are totally unfounded. And I've had friends confirm that to me. But I was really interested when I saw that the bottom actuated, the micro adjust, and some other improvements that they made to this rest. So I bought one, and I'm going to put it on my bow because I'm upgrading my bow anyway with new strings and sight and rest. So here we go. This is going to be a review video of the Vaportrail Gen 7X rest. So there's the Gen 7 rest, and it comes with the bottom limb adapter. And if you're going to run it top limb, you would remove this piece, as I understand it from watching videos. It tells you on the arm which direction to wind the cord. It has micro adjust where you loosen this bolt, and then you can micro adjust up and down here, and then side to side you loosen this set screw, and then you can micro adjust there. And then obviously that is your actuation on the rest itself. It's got a bubble level on it, and if you can see that, that's pretty cool. To get it to focus, there we go. So it's got a bubble level built into it. You got all your micro adjusts, as you can see right here's your sideways micro adjust. Here's your up and down micro adjust. This go the right direction. This is the attachment for the bottom limb activation. You got set screws on here. So very nice rest. Very well designed. I'm excited to put this on and see how it goes. So we're going to put in the typical set screw. It actually came in the top hole, but on this Elite there's a cutout in line with the top hole. So they've got a second hole right here that you can go in and set it against the riser, which is pretty nice little feature. I don't know that I've ever had a rest that has multiple set screw locations. That's kind of a cool little thought in there that Vaportrail put into this. We are going to get roughly our center shot on here. So next up we're going to adjust our center shot. So up and down you would adjust this so that on most bows the arrow goes through what they call the burger or Berger hole, however you want to pronounce it, and that basically is the hole, your mounting hole for your screw right here. So I know on Elites you want to center the arrow, and then we'll micro tune after that, but for right now we're going to center it and then we'll micro tune. Okay, so we're going to loosen that up, and I need to go down a fuzz, no, up, right there-ish. So now we need to adjust it from left to right, and I know basically based on my left right roughly how far we got to be off the backside of the rest over. So I'm just going to set it for now at that, and then we'll micro turn it later. So right now I just have to loosen my set bolt, and now we can, using this screw, we can push it. However, now I am seeing the first flaw in this design on my Elite. And that is that the wheel adapter for a down bottom limb cable attachment. As I go left to get over to where I need to be, this starts hitting the LTR right here. So as I adjust the wheel, the downward cable roller, if you want to attach to the bottom limb, hits the LTR. And then the whole rest begins to cock over to the side and rotate. You can see it. And I still can't get there. I've got a long ways to go. So that's not going to work. But the rest will work in the regular configuration, which is attaching to the top. So as you can see, I am going to have to attach to the top, which is no big deal. I've got a lot of friends who run this rest and they attach to the top, or they run the previous version, they attach to the top. I was just kind of hoping to attach to the bottom. So that's something that needs to be rethought, Vaportrail, on this, getting into these arms and devices. So we're going to take this off. All right, so now with that off, now we'll run our center shot over. So we're going to tighten it down. Here's the next problem. It's not really a problem so much on mine, but I could see where this would be a problem. I actually, the hole, the bolt to tighten, the micro adjust, is underneath the LTR. And the only way I can get there is go down through. Thankfully, there's a cutout in the LTR. But if there wasn't a cutout, this would be a real problem. All right, so we got that on. So next we got to put on the cord. So just like we would with the D-loop, we got to burn the end of this. It comes already burnt, but I wanted to flare it a little more. And so I cut the end off of that, and we're going to basically just melt it. So now we got a nice little bead at the top, just like we would on a D-loop. Go down around. Go through the loop. Come down, go in front, and back around, and into the hole like that. And then you got that little button like you would have on a D-loop. And we're going to sit here and just work it and snug it up. That's like really good. And then that should not go anywhere. So that's how we're going to. So now we're going to wrap around the rest bolt here, and it has an arrow that says for right-handed you're going to go counterclockwise. So we're going to go around it counterclockwise. Just like that. And then we just want enough tension on this cord so that the rest is in the lowest position. We do not want to sit here and pull super tight and put a lot of tension on this. Everything that I've read and watched online is you just want enough tension to be in the lowest position is all. So when you do that in the lowest position like that, you're going to tighten it down. So that's in place, and then you can come back and cut this tag off, which I'm going to hold off on doing until after everything's set up and tuned. Going to shoot a couple arrows through this, and we're going to get it all tuned up, and then I think we'll be good to go. So okay, so I went out and I shot about 6 or 7 shots, was very impressed. One thing I noticed real quick is this knot up top has got to take a few shots to settle in. So you're going to have to come back and readjust this tension arm. And I screwed up. I thought that was an Allen head in there. Thankfully, it worked decent enough. It's actually a Torx head. It's a T10. So I got looking at it and I was like, well, that's not right. So what we're going to do is just put and reset this back in. Because again, that knot up top just kind of had to seat. It needed a few shots to seat. And now you can get that nice and firm with that. And it's just enough tension to hold that thing down. So now we'll go out and we'll do some tuning with this. All right, so I decided that I would shoot my bow with this new Vaportrail Gen 7X rest on for a couple weeks before I gave my final thoughts.
And my final thoughts on this thing are it absolutely is an amazing rest. I'm very impressed with this thing. I was able to get it to micro adjust, so I was shooting bare shafts with fletched arrows at 20 yards and grouping a ½ inch or less. I was also shooting out at 60 yards with my fletched arrows and putting them in a softball sized group. And I don't shoot much long distance, so I was incredibly happy with that. So this thing is great, it's quiet. It actuates so simply, it adjusts simply. I was concerned because one of the things that I really thought was appealing about this wrist was with the pulley system on it, you're able to do the bottom limb activation. And I found on my Elite that I can't do that because of the LTR. So I'm running the top cord, and actually it ended up not being a big deal, which I don't know why I would have thought it was, because people are using the original Gen 7s and their other previous one, it's a limb driver, I can't remember the model number, with the open top. But they're doing that and been doing it for years, and there's no problems. There's a slight bow in the cable. It does not get into my quiver, which is absolutely awesome. So the LTR on the Elites is an issue with this rest. I mean, I've already talked about the bottom cable drive attachment, but also the windage screw where you tighten it down. I had to go through the hole in the LTL, and I suppose you could take an Allen wrench and you could cut it down and be able to slide it under. And so it is an issue. Now, I did reach out to Vaportrail, to their credit, on social media, and they were awesome. They answered my questions. They said one of the problems is in 2020, the bow manufacturers and the technology, they're making some wonderful rises and cable slides, cable roller systems and all that, but it's very hard to come up with a one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to mounting to the bows. And I know they got some different ones from Matthews and a couple others. They told me they're coming out one that's Elite specific for the newer Elite bows. They didn't give me a timeline on that. So, but it did work on my Ritual. I would assume it will probably work reasonably well on the Cures and all the other new ones as well, but I can't promise that. I've not tried it out. But it did work on this, but you gotta understand that you're not gonna use the bottom cable system on this, and there may be some challenges in the windage. So, but for me, it worked out great. So I'm very impressed with this thing. I've had a lot of fun shooting it. For me to go from a whisker biscuit style rest for 15 or so years and go to this, it's a big change for me, but I really, really like it. I'm looking forward to it. I think the simplicity of this fall away rest when it comes time to be in the deer woods will be wonderful. I don't think it's overly complicated. So, and my group's improved, and overall it's just fun sometimes to shoot new gear. So again, I can't say enough great things about this. I would encourage you to check out this rest. Again, I liked it so much I actually got another one for my other bow, and I'm looking forward to putting that on. So with that, God bless and stay safe out there. We all know what a crazy world we live in these days, unfortunately, but stay safe because deer seasons are coming up right around the corner. And as always, it's a new day in the outdoors.